Well, hello and welcome back to another vocal live hangout. I nearly did it. I nearly did it. I hope you are all well and ready for a big week wherever you are. I hope you are safe. Of course, we've been, just being real concerns for the people of Myanmar. I think it is the country that's just endured the 7.7 earthquake, just massive. And so I hope wherever you are safe and well and in good spirits, ready for a webinar style. The live hangout sort of thing we're doing today is the mini topic. And today's question, you can see it in the live chat there. Today's live question for everyone in the live chat is, what's your favourite way to add vocal flair? And the reason that's an important question is because we're going to be looking at vocal styling and improvisation today. And I'm even going to show, I hope all the tech goes well, I'm even going to try and show some examples of what we're talking about with some video and what have you today. So I'm trying something new, we're always trying to push the boundaries a little bit with what we do. Wasn't last week such a great chat with our special guest, Claudia Friedlander, Dr. Claudia Friedlander, who, as for those of you who were able to watch it, we were talking about her journey through cancer, and she's on such a similar yet different journey to what Jody, my wife, went on. Coming up, can you believe it's been 8 years since diagnosis for Jody? 7.5 years, 8 in August, and it was a great discussion to talk about her identity as a singer and the challenges and struggles and lessons that she's taken from it. If you missed last week's lesson, please go and check it out. And I encourage you to check out all of our special guest sessions. We have such amazing people here on the show. And yesterday, I went to an ANATS event. ANATS is the Australian National Association for Teachers of Singing. It's a mouthful. They essentially are the national body association who take it upon themselves to provide professional development to singing teachers. And so I was at the Queensland chapter yesterday, and it was a learning event called the Toolbox, the singing toolbox, or the vocal toolbox. And it was great to watch 4 other pedagogues do, and it's actually really in keeping with what we're talking about a bit today, to show, they were showcasing how they work in different styles, all of them. So we had I only saw 2 of them because I had to arrive late because I was playing at church, but there was a classical singing teacher, a contemporary singing teacher, someone like myself, a jazz, and a music theatre. And it was just really interesting to watch the difference in approach to their teaching. And the person who provided the instruction or the presentation around contemporary vocal teaching, again, what I do, is Emma Wilson. Emma is currently the Queensland chapter president. It's a role that I held many moons ago. So she's currently the Queensland president. She will be our next special guest on the show on the 19th of May. I asked her many moons ago to come on the show, and we talked yesterday. I think we're going to talk about vocal health, but through her lens, and she's a well-studied person in that space. And so, you can never get too much information around vocal health. You only got one voice, and so it's really important that you learn to take care of it and that you are regularly reminded how to take care of it. So that's good. Next week, I'm just going to give you a quick rundown of what's coming up, everyone, because we've got sort of on again, off again kind of schedule. over the next few weeks. Next week it is my studio break. I am taking a holiday. Well, I'm not going anywhere, but my daughter's engagement party will be on, and there's a whole heap of stuff that needs to be done around that. So taking the week off next week. The week after that, we come back and we'll actually do a Q&A, just a straight old garden, remember those? Straight garden variety Q&A. You rock up with your questions. I provide, to the best of my ability, the answers. Then it's Easter Monday. We celebrate Easter here in Australia. So it'll be Easter Monday, so there won't be a show. The week after that, we'll be doing a live reaction. That's on the 28th of April. We're going to do another live reaction. I think we proof of concept when we reviewed Laura's song. I think it really worked. You can leave your comments in the live chat. Let me know. But we're going to do another one, so that'll be good fun. And then the week after that, it's what we call here in Australia Day, Labor Day. Not Australia Day. Here in Queensland, it's Labor Day. So it's another public holiday. So anyway, so we're going to be on off. So the thing you have to remember in the immediate next week, no show. We have a show the week after, okay, on the 14th. So just be ready for that. Let's get into the and don't forget to make sure you leave your vote. Yeah, leave your vote ready to go in the poll. We'll have a look at the poll question at the other side of things when we come back. I'm going to come over here so that we can start our mini topic. And as I said, vocal styling and improvisation. This is I love this topic because this is where we get to be truly creative. Yeah, we get to actually apply our voice in a wonderfully creative manner. And I'm hoping that some of the things that we're going to talk about, some of the singers we're going to listen to today, are going to be really provide you some really great insights and tools, practical tips that you can take away and start playing with vocal styling and improvisation yourself. So let's dive in here. What we want to do to start with is we need to unlock your spontaneity. This is easier said than done. This can be hard for many people. When we first come to singing, and this is very normal, and the vast majority of people, their journey into singing is they learn lyrics and they learn melody. And that, to start with, is enough for a lot of singers. I just want to be able to sing in tune and I want to remember the words. That's it. But once we start to get that going, there are a whole range of directions that we can take this singing thing. And one of those is unlocking this spontaneity. The reason this is important is because it causes us to move beyond what's written on the page. You don't have to be restricted to exactly, in fact, one of the comments made yesterday in the ANATS comments by Emma, the CCM practitioner, was the great thing about contemporary music is there are no rules. She was sitting right next to the classical teacher who was celebrating the fact that they have all the rules. And so there's no right or wrong here, but you do have to be able to apply your voice to your genre and your style accordingly. And in the case of what we're going to be talking about today, we want to get beyond what's written on the page. And the reason for that is because we want to add our personal expression and emotional nuance. Audiences want to get to us. Yes, there are songs that are iconic that people want to hear because they want to hear the song. But beyond that, people want to hear you. And I'm not just talking about the tone of your voice or the dexterity of your melisma and embellishments. No, I'm talking about they want to hear you, your person, the expression of an individual and what drives you, and you are using the song as a vehicle to express yourself. And so that's a third reason why this is important. And this is sort of the all on the musical side. When we unlock our spontaneity, it can be really freeing. You can build confidence in real-time vocal decisions, and you do have to kind of let go and let voice. There has to be an ability to release yourself in this. It's interesting, some of the most experimental musicians that you'll come across, not the only ones, but some of the most experimental will be, and improvised and spontaneous will be jazz musicians, including jazz singers. And yet there are no other musicians more rehearsed than jazz musicians and singers. Like they drill scales like nobody's business. And so to be free, to step outside the box, you have to be really well rehearsed, practiced, skillful. I keep hitting the wrong buttons. So here's where I want to show you some examples, because there are three core techniques, and I want to show you them, showing you a singer doing these things. And I need to. This is where I need to. I need to press some buttons, and hopefully. So I'm going to come over here, and then I'm going to come to here, and then I'm going to play us a track. So this first one is of Jewel singing Foolish Games live. What I want you to listen for is, and I've written down some notes here, I want you to listen for how, and this might be a bit of a challenge if you're not overly familiar with the song, but you'll have to take my word for the fact that the recorded version of the song is kind of nothing like what we're about to hear. She is moving the melody around like nobody's business. And it's not only because she is the artist who wrote it, the songwriter, but it's because she's taking that liberty to be expressive with it. Let's have a listen to it. We won't listen to it all the way through, but I do want you to get a sense of it.
Stood in the rain, you're always crazy like that. Outside my window, always felt like I was outside, looking in on you. You were always the mysterious one, dark eyes and careless hair. You were fashionably sensitive, but too cool to care. You stood in my doorway, nothing to say, besides some comment on the weather. In case you failed to notice, in case you failed to see, this is my heart bleeding more for you. This is me down on my knees. These foolish games are tearing me
that. That's a great example, and you can hear how she held on to that last note. Let me come back over. So you can hear, come back. I've got to press all these buttons, everyone. You can hear how she's moving timing, she's extending notes. This is a lot easier to do when it is just the singer on their own instrument. They get to guide everything. But it gives her full scope of expression. Like, it's all about expressing the intent. Rebecca, I saw your comment. You don't recognise that song. Jewel is a singer I often give students when I want them to explore phrasing and not being stuck, to only one way and really regimented phrasing, because she does what we just saw. She does that a lot. Okay, where am I going? Next one. We're going to have a listen to the amazing Tori Kelly, who is kind of currently the epitome of vocal riffs and runs. She is amazing, this woman. And I want you to have a listen to, and I'm actually starting this later in the tune because she starts to tune out quite, I went to say straight. There's nothing ever straight about Tori Kelly, but as straight as the melody can be. And then from where we're going to listen on to, she is going to be adding embellishment everywhere. Where we heard Jewel purely manipulating the melody itself, what we're going to hear Tori Kelly doing is like really strong embellishment. And let's jump in and have a listen to her doing that from here. Here we go.
And after the heartache, after the hurt, why is it so hard to say that one word? If it's really over, you never tell me that you love me. Oh, what a mess of me you've made. No, it won't make it all better, won't make it okay. But sorry would go a long way.
Wow. She's I think Tori Kelly is amazing. And it's what I think really causes Tori to stand out is not purely because she can, fit 20 notes into the space of where the rest of us can only sing one, but it's her choice. And this is a really important when we're doing riffs and runs and you're exploring improvisation like this. The musicality has to be top notch. There's no sense in trying to do all those little runs and poorly choosing what notes to hit. And it's if you want an education in riffs and runs, dive down the Tori Kelly rabbit hole, because it's very, very much worth it. Our next singer, and this will come as a surprise to you, perhaps, is Ariana Grande, and I'm choosing her not because it's Ariana, but because this is a really great example of this third core technique, and that is stylistic adaptation, and taking a song and completely giving it a new skin, completely transposing a new style over the top of it. And this is quite the fascinating piece. Are you enjoying having listened to these actual examples, everyone? I hope so. Here we go. So this is Ariana singing My Favorite Things, you know, the classic piece. So have a listen to this one.
Roses and whiskers on kittens, bright copper kettles and woolen mittens, brown paper packages tied up with strings. These are a few of my favorite things. When the darkness, when the distance, when I'm feeling sad, I simply remember my favorite things, and then I don't feel so.
So that bit was rather straight. I know it was still Ariana, right? It's still kind of modernized. But have a listen to where it goes in a moment. There is a complete metamorphosis, if you will, of style. Please excuse the overly provocative staging and costumes.
Breakfast at Tiffany's and bottles and bubbles. Girls with tattoos who like getting in trouble. Lashes and diamonds, ATM machines. Buy myself all of my favorite things. Be a savage. Who would have thought it turned me to a savage? Rather be tied up with cords and not strings. Write my own checks like I write what I sing. But stop watching.
We won't watch any further, but I think you get the general gist of it. You've got this complete transformation of style to bring it into in this instance, the modern age. So there's 3 core techniques that you can be applying when you're thinking of approaching your own, you know, fresh expression of songs. Melodic variation, vocal runs and riffs, and stylistic adaptation. So how do we put this into practice? Well, one way is to use loops to build patterns and experiment freely. And you can, excuse me, that'll be my lunch. What we can do is you can buy loop pedals. There's a great piece of equipment that TC Helicon put out that allows you to do all of that. And in fact, there are other pedals that you can buy that are loop pedals, and it allows you to record one, whether it be beat or melody, and you can then have that just loop, and then you can sing across that. But I also, and this is something that you can quite easily use, we look at riffs and runs specifically in Voice Essentials 2, and it's exercise 34 and 35. There are 2 riffs and runs activities that at the front half of the activity, I've built the exercise so that you can just basically call and response. Myself and the female singer Renee, you know, in rotation sing different melodies, and you then mimic and echo that. But then the track actually goes on for 2 or 3 minutes, and then you can play about creating your own improvisation, your own riffs and runs over the top of a major melody and a minor melody. And so that's certainly one way you can do it if you don't have access to a loops pedal, as an example. It doesn't hurt to mimic pro vocals and then create your own phrases. And so what you can do is go back and have a listen to Tori Kelly if you're feeling game, and listen to the way she, not only the melisma, the embellishment that she's doing, but also have a listen to the way she, and she puts accents in at different points. You can tell I'm no Tori Kelly. And go looking for your ability to really align your ear and therefore your voice to what the pros are doing. And then don't feel like you've got to be able to visit literally every note in the 12-tone chromatic scale. You don't have to. Start with 3 notes, and your first, your third, and your fifth. Like you don't have to go any more than that to start. You are going to get it all wrong if you're only just starting out. As in, it's not going to sound great, but the more you do it, the more you use it, you'll become more accurate. And pitch accuracy is a big part of being able to do this well. I loved what the jazz instructor yesterday at the ANATS event said, Dave Spicer. He's a genius on the keys. And he was really encouraging singers to see your practice space as the place where you suck, where you are really bad, because that's the point. It's your practice space is not supposed to be a place where everything that comes out of your mouth is fully finished and polished. It should be the place that you experiment, that you try new things, and in trying new things, where you completely and utterly fail. So, take that on board. I thought that was really great encouragement to do so. It is important that you stay authentic while blending styles. And that is, you need to understand the rules before you break them. And there is a great set of texts. I've told you about them before. It's this group of texts here. It's the So You Want to Dance. It's got nothing to do with dance. I don't even know why I said that. So You Want to Sing series. And so there's the music theatre one, and there's the folk music one. This is the one I'm reading right now. You see this little moo cow? It's my bookmark. I'm halfway through it. This is a great text. Loving this one. I own 9 of these for all different genres. And gee, it's really great to listen to the instruction of highly skilled individuals in specific genres talk about the intricacies of their genre, and this one on folk music is no exception. And you've got to know, and she's been talking about this in the chapter I'm reading currently, you've got to know the rules. By all means, once you know the rules and you can apply the rules and adhere to the rules, by all means, then, break the rules. But you got to be able to do the rules first. Know the stylistic markers of each genre. Is one, like in folk, one of the stylistic markers is often going to be high vocal, often twangy, a bit like country. There are definite parameters of different things. In classical, for example, you're not going to hear and shouldn't be hearing a lot, glottal stops as an example. But if you're in contemporary, we're going to want to hear some glottal stops. If you're in classical, and these I'm just being, really wide with these examples, we are not going to want to hear you breathe in the middle of a phrase if you're singing classical. If you're in contemporary, there are moments where it's not only acceptable, it's probably, required that we get a breath accent that breaks the phrase up in some way. And so these are the things that you have to be aware of when you are seeking to explore and improvise with your genres. And finally, stay true to your natural vocal identity. So in discussing all of this and having a look at, some great singers today, it is still all about you developing you, not developing ourselves to become Tori Kelly or Jewel or Ariana, or you name your favorite singer. We want you. It is so important that you identify your strengths and empower those strengths, become better at those strengths, and yes, note your weaknesses and continue to workshop and develop those weaknesses as well. And all of these things are going to help you to develop this vocal styling and improvisation. And that's where we want to be. That's hopefully going to be really, give you a whole avenue of exploration with your voice. And even if you don't want to stay there, we've talked about this, it can be really helpful in developing the specific genre you want to work in, to explore other aspects, riffs and runs and what have you, to develop the agility required in a riff and run can, be backwards beneficial into your genre, to have better flexibility and agility in your voice. And so I hope that was helpful, everyone. How have we been going with the questionnaire? I want to come over to our questionnaire. We've had 16 votes. I wonder, I've got to come over here because I need to look at our questions. Have we got any? We haven't. Oh, here we go. Carla wants to know if anyone has been chosen for the song review. Not yet, Carla, but there was a string of people who put up their hand to be involved in the live reaction on the Facebook, and that's where you have to let me know if you want to be a participant in it. You've got to do it over on Facebook, in the Facebook community page. Voice Essentials Community is what you want to search for, Carla. And have a look at that. But I think for the next one, I think we're going to have definitely one, maybe 7. No, I think we'll only have time to review one. But I think we're going to be okay. It would appear that we don't have any questions. So if there is questions, I'm going to have a look at the poll results. We've had 18 votes now. I'm about to end the poll, everyone, so we can see where everyone was sitting in regards to their responses. So if you want or haven't yet responded, now's the time to do it. Here we go. 3, 2, 1, end. And the results are really quite evenly spaced, it would have to be said. So twisting the melody, is a way to add. People like to add their flair. Switching up the style, yeah. I think the challenge of the switching up the style is often driven by your personal ability to play, vote like on an instrument or keys, or to have ready access to a fellow musician who does that. Letting loose with improv, yeah, and belting out a killer run. Really great responses, everyone. The polls are fun, Nevi, and which is why we keep doing them. And often one of the challenges, I said to Linda right back at the beginning of the live chat, Linda's finding them becoming harder and harder. I think the reason they're becoming harder and harder is because you've got to pick one. You've got to pick one answer. And the reality is, I think for the majority of us, we would all probably prefer to tick all 4 boxes because we're probably enjoying all of them. We don't have any questions to answer. I should have said at the beginning of the show, I always try to finish our mini topic shows with answering 1 or 2 questions. So Rebecca's saying the polls are becoming harder. They're not becoming Linda and Rebecca, they're not becoming harder. We're just, you just have to think a little bit, that's all. Carla's saying, listen to most modern jukebox. They change the style of popular songs. Yeah, well, actually, they're always... I've certainly listened to a lot of modern jukebox, Carla, and they're always taking today's song and back cataloguing them, taking them right back into that jukebox era. And, yeah, there are some very, very cool arrangements of that. I think we'll probably call it. I don't want to prolong the show any longer than it needs to be just because we don't have questions. But in 2 weeks, everyone, I want you to come in with a question. But before we do, guess what? Just as I'm about to hang up, what should come in? But a question. Rebecca's just added a question here. What would be the first suggestion on learning harmony? Do you know what the first suggestion is, Rebecca? And in fact, this was stated in this book, not in the current chapter I'm reading, but about 2 or 3 chapters back. There's a whole section in folk music, so you want to sing folk music, on singing harmony. Learn the melody. And you think, that's an odd place to start. No, you need to be able to hold the melody to then be able to nail the harmony. And then deciding on what kind of harmony, and there are multiple different types of harmony, and we go into learning harmony in Voice Essentials 3 at the very end of Voice Essentials 3. And we talk about, in the Voice Essentials online course, we talk about the 2 main versions of harmony construction is block harmony, and then the other one is improvised harmony. So block harmony is where you're either going to be singing a 3rd or a 5th, and the 5th will typically be down a 4th from the melody, and you're singing. It's called block harmony because you're sticking to the chord, exactly to the chord, whereas more improvised harmony, which is not generally improvise is the wrong choice of term here. It'll typically be far more arranged and written out, is that the harmonies will be structured to not be so block. They move in counterpoint and do a whole range of different things. And so it's easier to sing after you've learnt the melody. It's easier to learn to sing block harmony by ear because you really are just staying within the structure of the chord. Whereas the arranged harmonies, you do have to learn to, you've got to learn them because they're written. And, you know, those sorts of harmonies you're going to hear more in groups like Pentatonics and New York Voices. Oh, how good are New York Voices? We don't hear a lot of them anymore. Who's the Disney crew? Vo somebody. Come on, someone, let me know in the chat. Who am I thinking of? It's right on the tip of my tongue. They're amazing. And I love them. And why can't I think of them? Anyway, Pentatonics, not Vive. No, it's vocal. I can't think. Voctave, that's the one. Thank you. Voctave are the bomb. And anyway, their harmonies are all written. they're not just a group of singers, including pertains. They're not just getting together and saying, let's sing this, and they just all spontaneously come up with, amazing harmonies. No, they're written down. They've been orchestrated and arranged. So, but first place, learn the melody and then structure from there. Amanda has asked, I'm going to finish with this, Amanda. Amanda, you got your question in time, which is good. Amanda has asked, how do you explain resonance and the spacing in the mouth as it pertains to vocal styling? Well, it's going to come down to tone. Tone and vocal effects. I use that term loosely in this discussion. So again, like if you are singing a particular form of country music, you're going to want quite a fair bit of focused twang, whereas and where that twang sits may well be different to where you would sit the twang if you were doing music theatre. And so knowing the nuance of that, you're going to have done a lot of listening in your particular style. And so it's really, a big part, and it's probably something I didn't speak enough of too in when we're doing the mini topic and looking at the slides. You have to do a lot of listening. And I'm talking active listening. There's passive listening, which is good to do as well, to have your genre of choice sitting in the background while you cut up the veggies for dinner. But you also need to do active listening. Actually sit down with the intent of purposefully listening to what the musicians and the singers are doing in accordance, in this instance, in accordance to style. And so that is going to include timing, rhythm, phrasing, tone, and vocal effects like riffs and runs and glottal strokes and we could be here all day, right? Phonation qualities, breathiness. So these are all things that you need to be thinking of, and they are going to be all. A good chunk of them will be managed through resonance strategies, which are going to be all through the spacing of the mouth. Lennon, we're going to hold your question off until in 2 weeks. So Lennon, come back in 2 weeks and we will answer your question, which is all about classical training, singing pop, contemporary gospel. Oh, that's a chunky question. And for that reason, we are going to hold it off. I just read your question, Lennon. Linda, take note of that question. We are going to hold that off. That is a good chunky question to kick off in 2 weeks with. We'll kick off with that question from Lennon, because I want to give that the value it deserves, the response it deserves. I hope you've enjoyed today's live hangout, the mini topic. And I hope you enjoyed the examples. I hope that all worked technically, and I think it's a value to actually be able to see it. So yeah, and can I also once again encourage you to become a member of the channel? What I do with these mini topics, I take them and I edit them after the fact into a more concise, polished sort of presentation and make them member only. And there are, I forget the number, but there's like nearly 15 of these exact edited mini topics in the members only section. The only way you can watch them is to become a member. It's a small fee. It supports the channel. You can do it by hitting join underneath the screen right now, and I'd appreciate it. It really is helpful, and yeah, and the membership community is very, very small, so you get to be a part of of a small community, and yeah, I hope you can do that if you can afford to. I look forward to seeing you in 2 weeks, and stay well, stay healthy, and stay in good voice. I'm Dr. Dan. Sing well.